Welcome to Thursday, November 10th, 2022. Your Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Cowboy State Daily, Wyoming's news authority. Check them out on their Facebook page or cowboystatedaily.com. Also brought to you by Chugwater Chili. Make sure you go to chugwaterchili.com and place an order and get 20% off by using the checkout code ChugwaterDon. That's ChugwaterDon at chugwaterchili.com. Pretty cold is the best way to sum up the way the weather's going to go here for a while. There's actually, after today, not much happening. It's just going to be cold, wintry out there as chilly air is going to dominate through the weekend. We don't see any real significant amount of snow coming into the region here over the next 3 or 4 days. Now, we're going to have the storm across the Dakotas, across eastern Montana. We're going to have some lingering snow showers in the mountains of Wyoming and Colorado today. But as we get into Veterans Day tomorrow and into the weekend, it's just going to be cold. And for most of the nation, it's going to be cold, coast to coast, as we get into this weekend through all of next week, as a Canadian air mass is just slowly settling south into the lower 48 states. Yesterday, we talked about some areas of fog across some areas of the eastern plains of Wyoming, Montana, and western South Dakota and Nebraska. Here's a great shot out of Story as that freezing fog just glazed up everything and caused some beautiful frosty scenes. Here's one out of Gillette where that frost really accumulated on the grassy areas and the trees there. And you'll see this when you get these Arctic fronts, these Arctic boundaries coming out of Canada like this, as you get upslope conditions in that Arctic air pushing up against the high plains. Today's satellite photo shows the swirl of clouds up here in southern areas of Montana as the storm is lifting to the north and east, and that's where the action's going to be today, with that low right along the South Dakota-North Dakota border here by noon today. You can see Nicole then heading through Florida. That'll end up bringing heavy rain to the southeastern United States, but dissipating as it does so. As we look ahead, the counterclockwise spin around this low is just going to draw in a lot of cold air. But before the cold air comes in and dominates, you can see the heavy precipitation falling across just about all in North Dakota into northern Minnesota, eastern Montana there. That's going to be all snow, along with much colder temperatures and wind chills. A little bit of snow and rain for the Pacific Northwest and the central and northern Rockies, as there'll be a little bit of moisture, not a lot, coming in behind that storm. So you'll get some snow shower activity continuing up into the higher mountains through today, tonight, and into early tomorrow. And that's what the snowfall looks like here through the next 3 days. Look at these temperatures. These are the temperature anomalies by 6 p.m. today. Look at all the blue, look at all the green and the purple. The purple there up across Montana into Alberta, Saskatchewan there. And look at the cold. We mentioned this yesterday. Just cold for the Great Basin states. Very cold for California, very cool for Arizona. Colder than average across the west slope of Colorado into Utah there, then across the northern Rockies and the northern plains. And this cold is just going to get more pervasive. These are the forecasted low temperatures tomorrow morning. Anywhere you see a gray color, that's a sub-zero Fahrenheit temperature. And so you can see there's a lot of below zero there in Montana, southern Canada, but in the valleys, the high valleys of Utah and Colorado, and look at those temperatures back into Idaho and Utah and Nevada, just really, really cold. This is Saturday morning. So the cold air is dense. It's more dense, it's more heavy, and once it kind of comes in and there's nothing to push it away, it can kind of stick around. Now, this is for next Monday. Notice next Monday, we have a low over south central Canada. The jet stream is going up into British Columbia, taking a dip south into the Rockies and Plains. That blue arrow shows just an open door. It's an open door of cold into the Rockies, and then the cold air spreads east of the divide, and it makes it all the way to the Gulf Coast. This is by Monday. So look at the lower 48, look at southern Canada, and look how cold it is, even into Mexico. This cold persists. This is the 10-day temperature anomaly. You add all the 10 days upcoming, and these are the anomalies based on the 30-year average. So you can see the bullseye of the cold is here in the out west. Now, I don't think this is severe or prolonged cold to where the point to where you're breaking records, but it's 7 to 10 days where it's just going to be chilly. It is just not going to be warm, and we're going to have some really cold nights, especially in areas that are picking up snow. And this is the 10-day forecast for snow, and you can see it's the storm going across the Dakotas there into southern Canada. Look at the snow in the Great Lakes and the Northeast. This will be their first real significant snows, at least getting further south into the Great Lakes, and even some snow possibly in the panhandle of Texas, Missouri, parts of the Corn Belt seeing some flakes of snow. I think it's a real possibility, although the source region of the air is Canada. So we're kind of cut off from a Pacific flow of air for a bit. That's why there's not a lot of snow in the forecast here for the coming days, as the moisture source, the source of air, is Canadian, and we don't have that combination of Canadian and Pacific. So Canada kind of wins out here in the coming days, and this is out 10 days. This is in the next weekend. You see that low there up north of Hudson Bay? That's just a deep spinning area of really cold air. We call this the Hudson Bay vortex that will form during the winter season, where you get just really cold air up there spinning counterclockwise. And occasionally that will send very cold air south into the U.S. So with it developing and with it staying up there in the extended period of time, well, we're going to have to watch out for more cold episodes as we get into the month of December. Have yourself a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow.